Hi, I was in El Salvador in February to report on the inauguration of a children's hospital. In a poor country like El Salvador, if a child is born with any physical or mental disability, the child is often abandoned. But throughout the misery, there are signs of hope. El Salvador, a country with breathtaking atmosphere and panoramic views. This plateau below us, for example, lies between two mountain ranges and is broken up by many river valleys. A hiker's paradise, it would seem, but El Salvador is an extremely poor country. These are but some of the average conditions most families live in. El Salvador is also recovering from a 12-year civil war, a brutal war that claimed the lives of an estimated 60,000 Salvadorians. And these Franciscan monks were in many ways on the front line. Salvadorians would often seek the church's help in finding their family members who had been taken away by military soldiers. But despite the risks, some monks dare to do more. Meet Father Vito Guarato. For several years, Father Vito had been hiding from the country's death squads as he tried to complete his mission. Father Vito had spent over 20 years trying to accomplish the building of the Hogar del Niño Minusválido Abandonado, a hospital for neglected children. The government's ignorance, Father Vito told me, was his biggest battle, because during the Civil War, the government felt that anyone dedicated to the poor must be a dangerous radical. This child, Father Vito says, was left abandoned. This is another one of the abandoned children we found, he says. This child is blind and has a heart condition. This child has respiratory problems. Ironically, once the mission was completed, Father Vito had been praised for spearheading the mission by the same government that tried to hunt him down during the Civil War. But for Father Vito, much of the thanks goes to the Canadian volunteers who helped to turn the mission from this into this. Here up on this hilltop called Monte Albernia, you can see the Catholic mission below. It's now complete and it will house and care for over 300 children, most of whom are critically ill and were left abandoned. The story aired on Valentine's Day, our theme being the love of mankind. We raised over $10,000 the first night it aired on our station. Here's a different kind of story, where the money isn't being used for a worthwhile cause. Let me introduce you to the lifestyles of the rich and spoiled.
The moon is up and racing's gonna happen.
I think anytime that you're racing on the street, I don't think it's safe whatsoever.
In 7 years I've been driving, I've only been caught once. So they can't say much, eh? They don't know, so what can they say?
But you're on TV now. If your parents see this, what do they think? What are they gonna think?
It's too bad now.
I look back, I probably think about I've been doing it 6 to 7 years.
If someone died, they could be in prison for up to 14 years. So we're not talking small potatoes here. This is a serious offense.
Why do I do it? It's fun, keeps you out of trouble, to do something else.
It always concerns me as to what is going on. I'm concerned about the public in general who just happen to be driving through that road.
$2,000, buddy.
Losers always prosper.
Losers always prosper? Would you believe those guys showed up in our studio to debate the cops live? The last guy you saw threatened me for about a week. He of course denied everything, but I caught him red-handed. Seeing is believing. And would you believe there are Wiccan rituals going on in our parks? Watch this.
I am a witch in that Wicca and witch derive from the same Old English word meaning wise. In modern Wicca, magic is part of our religious practice. There are things that we use energy to do.
Some of us do in fact use skulls in worship, and each does it for his own reason. I only use animal bones because I am a hunter and I feel a connection to the animals around me. Those people who use skulls can do so because they're morbid, or they can do so to remind themselves that life is just one step in existence and that death is natural and death is good and death is what comes next, whether you like it or not.
The sun brings forth light.
And the moon holds it in darkness.
As above,
so below.
And as the athame is to the male,
so the chalice is to the female.
And conjoined we be one in truth, for there is no greater power in all the world than that of a man and a woman, joined in the bond of love.
Our main law says that you harm no one. And this to us is a sacred thing. All life is sacred. The four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, are the cornerstones of everything.
Circle around the fire to raise the tone of fire, to bring what we desire, so much it be.
In case you're wondering what I'm doing in a pool hall, the point is simply, I'll go wherever I have to go to get the story done and play whatever game I have to get that story. And I can do that for you.